Manchester City fans, a very good afternoon and happy Sunday. Welcome to Matchday Live. My name is Cel Spellman, and to my left, I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by Stephen McInerney and Luke Stanley. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Luke, mate. How are we?
Good, yeah, I'm good. I'm excited. You know, everyone else will have played by the time we kick off, but yeah. Hopefully a big one on our hands, yeah.
Absolutely. Stephen, great to be back with you, man. How's things, first of all? How's everything with you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very excited for a certain lineup today, so it's got us buzzing in the studio, hasn't it?
Yeah. We're going to be bringing you team news very, very soon. Remember, we're one of the first places that you can get it. Obviously, we're coming off the back of that win against Swansea in the week. Great performance. And as well, we're starting to see that squad rotation, which we've not really seen in the last kind of season and a bit, obviously because of injuries. It's great to see that everyone's getting a run of form.
Yeah, like last season, the back line in particular was so changed just because of the injuries and stuff like that. And you want everyone available because not only is it you've got different options, but it's like the whole team wants to play. Yeah. So everyone's going to just give you that extra few percent, which is what we want. And like we said against Swansea, we rotated, I think it was 10 changes. Mm-hmm. And hopefully some of the big performers in that game will be playing today.
Yeah, fingers crossed. What did you make of that performance overall? Obviously, I think, did I see you tweet out as well of like, obviously they scored an absolute worldie against us in the opening 15 minutes.
Ridiculous.
Of course.
Yeah.
But after that, it just felt like we didn't get out.
How does that happen all the time?
Always
all the time.
Honestly, some of the goals we see, we're privileged in a way. As much as we don't want to see them go in, like it's ridiculous.
I always think back at Andros Townsend, man, would always pull one out against
Death taxes and worldies against us regardless. I enjoyed it, man. Like, I love Carabao Cup games, unashamedly. I always think they're a chance to see something different and see new ideas and players who need match fitness. And there were so many stories from that game. Of course, Kusin are back, Nori, Marmoush, Shirky, so many players that you wanted to see. And obviously it was a little bit ropey in the first half, but naturally the chemistry wasn't there. But the second half, it was, I know in inverted commas, just Swansea, they're not a Premier League side, but they're a good side. And some of the football, the way we penned them in and the little link up, the quality of the goals as well. Yeah, a goal, an assist for Shirky, a goal from Marmoush. It was a really excellent night for City in the end, and essentially it's what we needed, that experiment and the minutes in the legs, and it was just good fun, mate. We're
going to be speaking about the academy a little bit later on because it's been a very successful weekend, as it kind of usually is for our academy teams. We saw against Huddersfield, Luke, obviously, that a lot of good few of the academy lads got the chance. The Heskey brothers, Divine Mukasa did start, but do you think that is because we're just seeing now our squad coming back to kind of full health, the fact that we didn't see as many?
Yeah, I think part of it is that, definitely, and I think with all due respect, I think Swansea are probably a slightly more difficult opponent than Huddersfield.
Agreed.
But also, I think they did play the night before. So I was looking, I think the under-21s I believe played Rotherham, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I looked and saw both Heskies had played in that game, and I thought, maybe we're not, in need of some of the support from the academy, but at the same time, we've got to make sure they can play their own games as well. And if we have players available, then it makes sense to, have a full first team squad.
Absolutely. Also, quick word on Divine Mukasa. I mean, from what I've seen so far, and we know he's kind of been tearing up the academy, but he seems to be able to slot right into that team with ease.
That's the biggest challenge.
In a position that's not his either. I mean, he's been playing as a striker. He's kind of more of a 10, isn't he?
Midfield as well, like to be able to slot into that role against professionals, because I think we underestimate the size of the league. Ask any pro and they'll probably tell you the same. Like going from academy football to senior football, even it is against a side division below, it's incredibly hard. And Mukasa has that sort of air and elegance of a first team player already. Like he strolls around so confidently, and he's going to be special. You can tell already. Guardiola wants him around the first team to learn from him, and he's the one that gets to start, despite all the talent in the youth sides already. He's next on the conveyor belt, it would seem, and you don't know how far he'll go, but you feel like, I say going to be special, but that's my gut instinct speaking, but there's no less talent there than so many players who've achieved so many things already, from the City Academy, so I can't wait to see more of him. Maybe it wasn't, quite as headline grabbing as the Huddersfield game for him, but he looks like he's in that Manchester City side, and to be that young and to be that comfortable, that's a win in its own right.
Yeah, it really, really is. Right, Jen, should we find out who the team is today then? This is our starting 11 as we take on Bournemouth here at 4:30 at the Etihad Stadium. This is how we're shaping up. Here he is, our main man, Gigi Donnarumma, starts in goal. Mateus Nunes, right back, he's really come into form this season in that position. Ruben Diaz at the back, partnering alongside Guardiola, left-sided centre-back, and playing left-back, we welcome into the team Nico O'Reilly. What a season that young man is having. Nico Gonzalez comes back to start in our holding role in the number 6. Our captain, Bernardo Silva. and making his 200th Premier League appearance in a Manchester City shirt, one of our own, Phil Foden. And there it is, Manchester City fans. Ryan Shirky starts after that performance in the middle of the week against Swansea. Jeremy Doku, of course, as we know, does like playing against Bournemouth. He starts, and completing the starting 11, Erling Haaland. There's a lot to come to, but let's begin with what got us all very excited. Ryan Shirky starts. We weren't too sure if he would, but he's gone for it, Luke.
The number 10. I mean, after that performance midweek, it's only right. I mean, look at the screen now. The way he was playing was unbelievable. He deserved the goal at the end as well. I think everyone thought that. He got that goal. He obviously got the assist as well.
Yeah.
And he lit up the pitch. Even when we were behind, even when it wasn't really going our way, I was looking at him thinking, this guy's doing everything. And look at that great goal as well.
I think what we've witnessed over the past 10 years as Manchester City fans, Gundogan, De Bruyne, David Silva, Aguero, all three of us, we were buzzing. When that lineup was announced, we were giddy with excitement, which says it all how special this young lad is and how far he could go, because some players you just look at him and they have that air of magic to them. He's a footballer's footballer, a street football player, just so much ability. He wants the ball, he wants to make things happen, and he's the kind of footballer you sort of get out of bed to watch. Like, honestly, City were playing at 1:30 in the morning, 2:30, I'd be like, if Shirky's playing, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there anyway. But you know what I mean? Like, he's that level of special, and like, I just can't wait to see him, man. I'm giddy. I'm giddy with excitement.
It was a bit killer because he obviously picked up the injury, and I think he was the signing. We made some great signings in the summer, but he is the one that we kind of all got very excited about after what he did at Lyon. Picked up the injury. If he kind of finds a little bit of rhythm, and the fact he's also playing alongside someone, Phil Foden, I feel like their games will complement each other a bit, Luke.
Definitely, and Erling Haaland scored a lot of goals, but I think Shirky will provide not only goals to Haaland and other players, but he'll score a few himself. We saw that midweek, and that's what we need. We need goals from all over the pitch. As much as Haaland's been definitely chipping in his fair share, I'd like to think Shirky might get 1 or 2 today.
Yeah. What do we think then? Because obviously, as we know, we'll have Nico and Bernardo. Will it be Foden in the 10 or Shirky, or do you think it'll be a bit of rotate? Obviously, we don't know, only Pep and the players know, but just if we were to try and work it out.
I think Foden will be in the middle. I think we'll push him out wide, I think. Shirky, And
then they can kind of also interchange, I guess.
It's Bournemouth, isn't it? Like, the hardest working team in the Premier League statistically. Like, they're going to press aggressively. I don't think you play just yet Foden and Shirky in the middle. Bernardo could be on the right, but to me, it makes more sense. You're sort of a less responsible role, so to speak, out wide, and one of those two there, and I'm sure they'll both drift for what it's worth, and they'll all interchange and so on. But I'm genuinely amazed in a good way that he's gone for it, because we were chatting beforehand, and as we were saying, Bournemouth are so intensely aggressive, and to me, Pep must just be genuinely excited to start him because he's such a special footballer. And a lot of logic, given how cautious Pep is, rightfully, would dictate that maybe Shirky sits on the bench this one and you play more aggressive players, but he's just such a wonderful talent. You've got to start him. You can't bottle up that magic.
I was also thinking if you're trying to get them both to play together, which they've done, but they're different players. But remember when we had David Silva and Samir Nasri, kind of like the 2 10s almost. That's something I'd maybe like to see in the future a little bit. Nasri was a baller. Of course, we're excited about Shirky, but I think the big headline, and we have to take a moment to appreciate 200th Premier League appearance for Phil Foden. He's 24, 25.
Unbelievable.
One of our own, Lou. I mean, again, we talk about we run out of things to say with Haaland. We kind of run out of things to say about Phil Foden.
Yeah, and he's kicking it this season again. He's not quite. I've watched an interview with him. He said he's not quite happy with the goals and stuff, but I think he's getting there, and you can see that he deserves goals and stuff like that. He'll get them 200 Premier League appearances, though. Is just absolutely ridiculous for a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
And Pep said it was a privilege, it was an honour, and he started him today. Obviously, you couldn't not start him today.
I think we just was reading there as well that he's the youngest person to ever reach that milestone in a Manchester City shirt, ahead of Raheem Sterling, and also he's actually one of our most decorated players in the club's history, and he's still only 25. Stephen,
there's literally nothing left for him to achieve really in terms of individual honours and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he's won it all in Manchester City, but I think the next thing for him now is when you're that experienced and that young, and you're a City fan, I think he's become a leader in this City side. And you've seen glimpses of that this season already, where he's the first to put an arm on the back of a goal scorer or support a teammate who needs it, and he's stepping up, controlling games, dropping a little bit deeper and trying to get on the ball ball a bit more. And I think that's what his next aim will be, to become more responsible in the absence of Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne and maybe Bernardo Silva in a couple of years' time. That's what Phil's going to aim for, in my opinion. And 200 appearances already, and what he's won, it's absurd. It isn't normal, and that's the thing the City side does. And Guardiola, they normalise the abnormal, and Phil Foden is the epitome of that.
Is he in the England squad next week for you, Luke?
He should be. He should be definitely on that plane to the World Cup. I mean, if he's not, then I don't know what.
It is.
I don't know what's going on. I'm just doing the maths in my head. 200 Premier League appearances and 6 league titles. That means he's winning the league every 33 Premier League games. Which is ridiculous. That's less than
quick maths.
Yeah,
it's less than a season. Flipping it. That's crazy. One player that I wanted to highlight, and he's really kind of, I think, just quietly come into form, and we're starting to realise his importance, because we felt it when I think particularly was it against Villa, but Nico Gonzalez. Now, I think for the first season, City fans weren't too sure, but I always like to remind, when you think Fernandinho, he needed a season or two. Rodri in his first season wasn't the Rodri that we then saw the second season after that. Are we starting to see Nico really kind of make that number 6 position his own?
We've got to remember he's only been here for about 9 months or something like that, 9-10 months, so it's barely any time at all. And I was reading some stats before the season started in relation to a young loan player, Nipan, who went to Middlesbrough, about how they loaned him because he needs to learn how to run in this country. And like the Premier League sprints and all that kind of stuff, it absolutely outstrips any other country. Like, it's the hardest, most physical league in the world. And I think that, to me, is what makes it so difficult for young midfielders to try and adapt to this league. And Nico Gonzalez, understandably, is taking a little bit of time to get up to pace with the league, but you're seeing right now, what his efforts can achieve. And Guardiola keeps talking, quite pointedly in my opinion, about how coachable he is.
Yeah.
He keeps talking about how, and I don't know if he's trying to make a point broadly or whatever, but he obviously is enamoured by what Nico Gonzalez can bring to City, and you can see the improvements from game to game to game. He's really starting to stretch his legs out on that pitch. And I think in a couple of years' time we'll be sat there talking about a guy who's just an elite level midfielder, because you can see the improvement already in about 15 starts. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Look how good Fernandinho got. Look at Rodri, a very good midfielder turned into the greatest in the world, in a few years. I think Nico Gonzalez is absolutely on the right path.
It makes such a difference as well to the defensive structure, and you mentioned it just at the start there as well, Luke, where last season we know how much we struggled with our defence, particularly because of the injuries. We're really starting to see some continuity now and feel very, very solid at the back. I really enjoy this partnership of Ruben Diaz and Guardiola in his natural position, the left side.
And what's useful as well is the fact that you want to see your defenders stay in the team, and even sometimes when we have had John Stones and Diaz in there, Guardiola's still playing. He's still in there and he's still witnessing what's going on and being a part of it in that left back position. So yeah, we've had Ait Nouri, of course, injured as well, but Nico O'Reilly at left back as well has done an unbelievable job. And having Vardy on next to him, knowing that position so well, after him playing so many games there as well, is really useful. But I think Diaz is getting back to his best form. Nunes doing a good job at right back too. So I think that back line's really, really good, and a great midfield in front of it with their captain Bernardo starting today.
Now, obviously Bournemouth are today's opposition. I don't think anyone would have thought at the start of the season that this would be a top 4 clash. We're going to focus on Bournemouth in a little bit. Bernardo Silva spoke about in his pre-match conference about they are a team that like to press. They go man to man. So Stephen, tactically, how do you think City are going to go about beating this very, very good Bournemouth team?
You've got to keep the ball and you've got to keep it well. And that might be some of the logic with Shirky and the team as well, because obviously, technically he's absolutely, top class. And they are so aggressive. They look for those little triggers, the little sloppy passes here and there. And the beauty of how Bournemouth plays, they don't change it for anyone. And I think that creates a real rhythm and consistency for them. So City, they're going to have to be at their at the most, technical best to get past this press. And of course, you can go more direct, to Haaland and so on. And I'm sure, Foden and Shirky will get close to him to pick up any loose balls or whatever. But you've got to just basically do the simple things right. They'll. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. But you've got to make those simple passes, get it into midfield, and get it forward to Foden and Shirky as quick as possible.
Yeah, Luke?
Yeah, we've got to just limit their chances. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but you look at someone like Semenyo, how good he's been this season. Pep highlighted him as well. His output has been insane. Phenomenal. So we've just got to make sure we keep him away from our goal, which again sounds very basic.
It's easy, isn't it? You know?
It is what we've got to do.
I was just thinking, because Semenyo, does he play on the right side? Does he play on the left? So it's a big test for Nunes.
Yeah.
But like, I do think defensively he has really improved this season. I think Pep's also spoke about, obviously he's a centre midfielder, but if he kind of leans into becoming a right back, like, I've seen enough that I think he could be
he's obviously so good on the ball. Naturally, we signed him obviously when he was playing in midfield, and to have somebody at right back, we've seen it before. It's usually the left back position. We've seen it before with like Fabian Delph getting in there, and Zinchenko as well. So Pep knows what he's doing when he kind of creates these fullbacks.
He loves it.
Never does it easy, obviously, but that's what we want to see. Exactly, we've got another one in the lab in Nunes there, so hopefully he can continue, having a good time.
But Pep did say as well that he believes that if he actually steps in to make that position zone, he could be one of the best in the world. And I think physically, and you see his pace as well, that he has the attributes that could, I think, definitely lend itself to that a bit.
Yeah, well, midfielders are obviously some of the most technical players on the pitch. When Pep was at Bayern as well, I believe Philipp Lahm was in the right back kind of position. So, I mean, to be even compared to him, I think Nunes would do very, very well. That's an unbelievable player I've just mentioned there. But Nunes, Pep's done it before, is what I'm trying to say, and hopefully he can keep getting the minutes and keep getting these performances in, because he has done well this season.
He really, really has. When you talked about the press as well, it begins with Erling Haaland, and I think one thing that I've loved seeing him is, obviously, we know what he can do on the ball, but his off the ball work this season seems to have gone up a level as well, and it sets the standard for everyone else.
When you sign a 9.5-year contract, you're committing yourself to the club, and I think there's a real obvious desire from Haaland, and all the metrics show it as well, to lead from the front this year. It's like the amount of defensive headers he's winning and all that kind of stuff, and that stuff makes a difference. And when you've got the presence and the stature of Erling Haaland as well, it sets an example. And I think he could stand there, do nothing and score 30 goals a season, everyone would be happy. But if he can do more than that, which he is now, and become one of the captains, which was an inspired choice of Guardiola for what it's worth, to get that little bit extra out of him. It makes a difference. And I don't think it's a coincidence, that the pressing's better this season, because Haaland's a big part of that. And Haaland is the kind of guy that others will follow. When you've got that, that immense charisma anyway, you have to lead by example. And Haaland's obviously taken that challenge, and he's doing pretty well with it so far.
I do also want to put a mention, and I've been speaking about this since the pre-season, Pep Linders. Pep's assistant, I think, has also been very crucial to the way we are pressing this season and tactically how we're going about it.
Absolutely. I think we saw a little bit of it in the Club World Cup as well. I remember that one game against Juventus really woke me up a little bit. I know the Club World Cup, obviously, being in the summer, is a little bit of time ago now, but that was one game for me that really, really made me think, wow, this is what we can be, basically. So, obviously Colo Touré in there as well as one of the coaches. There's been a lot of changes behind the scenes, on and off the pitch, basically. So, I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, so am I. Obviously, you mentioned Colo Touré as well. We're sending love and condolences to him with the passing of his father earlier in the week as well, to his brother as well. Right, pitch side is Alistair Mann, and today he's joined by Clive Allen. So let's see what they're making of today's game.
Yeah, welcome to Pitchside, where alongside me on commentary duty today is the former City striker, Clive Allen. Clive, you're most welcome. Always lovely to work with you. Just before we go on to the Bournemouth lineup, let's just have a quick comment about City. I think the main headline, Ryan Cherki in that particular position, we think, behind Haaland. What does he bring?
I think he's a really talented, technical player. Obviously, I saw a lot of him playing for Lyon in France in Ligue 1 in the last couple of years. Obviously making his way then, making a name for himself. But I think in this City team, he can really flourish in that position.
And what does it tell you that Pep's picked him today for Bournemouth?
I think he's looking to obviously unlock this Bournemouth defence. It's a very, very interesting game, I have to say. But when you have a lot of players of that ability, you would expect to create chances for the centre forward. And you know what Erling can do.
Absolutely. Let's get on to the Bournemouth lineup, and this is it. Petrovic in goal, Truffert, Senesi, Brooks, who's come into the side today, Scott, Adams, Tavernier, Diakite, another change from last week's lineup, and then it's Jimenez, Krupi keeps his place even though Evan Nielsen is fit, and, well, the man of the moment, Antoine Semenyo. Now, Clive, you saw Bournemouth not that long ago. They won away at Spurs. What were they particularly good at that day?
I thought they were very, very powerful. Certainly in transition, they're really dangerous. So whenever you're attacking, you are actually under threat from Bournemouth, because the way that they move the ball quickly, pass it really efficiently, and certainly they've got a lot of pace off the left with Semedo in particular. real handful he can be. So City have to beware perhaps when they're actually in possession of the ball in terms of their shape defensively.
Do you understand why they're second in the Premier League?
Absolutely. It was a very, very impressive victory at Spurs. They were 1-0 winners but could have won by more. And obviously they've continued that. Home form's been good. The away form's not been the best, but they're a team to be reckoned with this season.
Everyone talks about Antoine Semenyo. What does he bring to their...
Well, I just think he has exceptional pace, there's no doubt about that, but ability on the ball, as we've seen on a number of games, when they break, invariably he's the one who penetrates defences, runs behind defences, very, very difficult to contain.
And interestingly, even though Evan Nielsen's fit, they've stuck with Krupi. Why do you think they've done that?
Well, scoring 2 goals last week, I'd be disappointed if I was left out. He's a man in form. Evan Nielsen obviously is back fit. So Iriola, the coach, has players to pick from off of his bench as well. So, yeah, they're looking very, very strong at the moment, Bournemouth.
Well, when you looked at the two lineups, we always ask this to whoever's co-commentating. What does your gut feeling tell you about what we're going to witness this afternoon?
I think it's going to be a cracking game. I do think it's the game of the weekend. Two teams who certainly are at the top of the Premier League. City can go second. Great record against Bournemouth. Bournemouth team who are a real handful to contain. So I see it being... I think there's no doubt for me that there's goals in this game.
And who's going to get the most?
I've gone for a 2-1 City victory. That's what I expect. I think City will continue their very, very good form against Bournemouth.
The thoughts there of Clive Allen. He's alongside me for the co-commentary this afternoon. Make sure you download the app, and as ever, we'll bring you every moment of this fascinating game. Remember, 8 home wins in a row against Bournemouth. Will they make it 9? Back to you.
Thanks, Alistair Mann, and a lovely prediction there from Mr. Clive Allen. Before we look at how Bournemouth are going to approach the game today, I think we have to take a moment for just how incredible of a season they're having. I mean, their coach Iriola is doing a phenomenal job. Pep highlighted that in his pre-match conference. Given as well the players that they lost in the summer to the likes of Liverpool, I mean, Houston that went to Real Madrid. Since the opening game against Liverpool, they haven't lost. Yeah. Phenomenal form, Luke.
15th of August, that's a long, long time ago. It had been sunny in Manchester at that point. I don't think much of that. But,
it was 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Honestly, it is a ridiculous season from them so far. That's 8 games, last 8 unbeaten now in the league. And they look good as well. It's not just a results game, it's a performance game from them as well, which is why it might be worrying for City fans. But Alistair Mann there did say, I think it was 8 league games in a row we've won at home against Bournemouth. So yeah, let's just hope that does continue.
That's a good omen. They've been very, very impressive. What has impressed you the most about Bournemouth this season so far, Stephen?
It probably is just the coach. You know, they're probably the best coach team, arguably in the world right now. You know, the resources that they've got, and you said to lose 3 of their defenders to PSG, Liverpool, Real Madrid, and then bring in Truffert and Senesi, and not even drop a beat. If anything, be better. Yeah. And see, it's the structure, the organisation, the utter conviction to how they play. So aggressive, and if anything, like you would look back in a few years' time, and Bournemouth will be sort of typical or symbolic of this era that we're in right now, where teams are so organised, so hard-working, and I don't think it's ever been harder to try and be a professional footballer in the Premier League because everyone works so aggressively, and Bournemouth are the reason why. And yeah, they are a brilliant side, and the way that they play against anyone, regardless of the stature of the team, it's sort of refreshing, to be honest. Yeah. And it is nice seeing teams like Bournemouth challenge this high. The miles ahead of us at the moment at the table, which is really, really impressive. And it's going to be a ridiculously hard game. And to be honest, it's one of those ones, if we get something from it, it's a massive boost ahead of the week, the games that we got. So yeah, Bournemouth, it's fantastic, mate.
Also, just off that point there, Stephen, I think before this weekend's fixtures, only 3 points separated 2nd and 11th, which, as you say, it shows the quality, but also, the standard now of all the, the teams that you'd have considered smaller teams, they're right up there.
Yeah, it's absolutely packed in the middle of the table, like you said, but all the more reason why a few points might make us jump very quickly from, I think we're 8th right now. Without playing, obviously, we could be 2nd. We could overtake Bournemouth that we're playing today. So hopefully it is a win. I am fairly confident for it, but yeah, Bournemouth are a very good team, like we've said.
Well, Nico Gonzalez has just done his pre-match conference and spoke about they know how hard Bournemouth work, and obviously, as we mentioned before as well, the intensity that they play with. We've mentioned Semenyo. We also mentioned, just while we were listening to Alistair Mann, Krupi, their striker as well. They've got a lot of threats around the pitch that City are going to have to nullify, Luke. Yeah,
especially I think it's that front three that's so good, and obviously this is the some highlights from the game last season. You can see Kirkes, that's now at Liverpool, obviously getting that crossing and that first goal there. Semenyo is just lethal. That's what he is, lethal. He takes a chance. I remember watching him a couple of weeks ago score a couple of goals. But you'd hope, coming away to City, it's all well and good them winning there. The last 2 games we played them, actually, we did win. We won the FA Cup game, obviously from behind, in the quarter-final before a trip to Wembley, and then won here with that amazing Marmoush goal that I'm sure we've played already. But
and we'll pull that one back out. With Semenyo as well, quite incredible. A joint 5th most goal involvements in all of the major European leagues. So he's only behind Kane, Mbappe and Haaland. 6 goals and 3 assists. Quite phenomenal, really. Big job for Núñez, as we said. Also, though, they've been quite solid at the back as well. Not easy to... Obviously, they crumbled a little bit at Liverpool. We forget as well, they were 2-0 ahead in that game. It's going to be difficult for us to break them down as well, Stephen.
Yeah, going back to the organisation, everyone knows what they're doing, and the relentless press and how aggressive they are. Teams just don't create many chances against them, and that comes down to Iraola, who's done just a remarkable job. Like the most effective manager in the league right now, pound for pound. And Bournemouth, I think it's different at home. Yeah, I think there's more of an impetus for City naturally in front of our own fans, and I expect us to create chances. But it is getting past that aggressive press. Otherwise, they'll be pending our half if we don't, keep the ball well. And that's how they, concede so few chances. It really is just pressing so aggressively up the pitch, regardless of who they play against.
Yeah.
Luke, like you said then, with obviously Liverpool being 2 up in that opening game, and then Bournemouth fight, the game's not going to be over for them. The game is not going to be over. That was at Anfield, I believe. Liverpool go 2 up, you think that's the first game of the season, Liverpool comfortable winning, all of a sudden, bang, Semenyo straight in with 2 goals. And then it was a very late goal, and then another goal from Liverpool to win it. So, bar a last-minute winner essentially for Liverpool, Bournemouth would be invincible in the Premier League right now, which is incredible, really.
Crazy, isn't it?
And they are since that point as well.
Yeah, that's it. And I just wanted to mention another player in there as well, Diakate, of course. Who's coming in, big centre-back, seems to have just slotted in a dream into that defence as well.
Yeah, looking good. Looking good. And obviously, like you said, they lost pretty much the whole defence last season. So to come in and do the jobs that these Truffert as well, they're doing unbelievable jobs.
That striker, that young lad, he scored 23 goals in France last season in the second tier. Now he's got like 4 and 6 in the Premier League. You've never even heard of him until 2 months ago. How are they doing this? They got some magic hack, haven't they?
Yeah,
it's wonderful though.
Great structure, as you say. Also, they've been getting a lot of praise from our manager Pep Guardiola. Here is what he was saying about Bournemouth in his pre-match conference earlier this week.
Top. That means how coordinated the hierarchy is, the sport directors with the manager, with the players, the clear philosophy. Don't change. Of course, the players, change a lot of things, but it's impressive. So when you lose 3 or 4 players for the back 4, PSG, Madrid, and Liverpool, and you reinvest the team with new players and do it in that way, is because there are a lot of good work behind. It's just 9 games, but it's not just games. It's games plus previous season. So it's a consistent team and fantastic team, manager, players. So tough opponent, but we know.
That was Pep singing the praises, rightly so, of Bournemouth and their manager and their club structure and the system that obviously is doing so well. Bar that opening game, they are unbeaten, so a very difficult opposition today. If you've just tuned in, thanks for joining us. Cel Spellman alongside Luke and Stephen. Your starting 11 is on the bottom of the screen. Donnarumma, Núñez, Diaz, Gvardiol, O'Reilly, Gonzalez, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Shirky starts, Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland completes the starting 11. Now we're going to take a moment to not talk about our men's first team. We're going to speak about our academy teams, because as it seems to be most weekends, the academy teams are in great form. We'll begin with the EDS, who played Leicester on Friday and they won 4-0. Seb Naylor with some beautiful goals, which we can bring you now, and also Sangare made it 3, and also Emilio Lawrence's deflected goal made it 4 on the night. The EDS, we keep, I think this it's a source of pride for all Manchester City fans, but we just seem to be going from strength to strength and some very exciting players against even in this team.
Look at that hit, Tarna-esque.
Yeah.
From distance,
Nice.
like Colorado-esque. Yeah. It's the conveyor belt of the academy right now. It's one of the most productive academies in world football, and there will be players that played in that game that will play in the first team soon. Singari picked up on a free transfer, wasn't it, from PSG or something like that? He's just scoring goal after goal for the academy sides. He'll be one that will get his chance. I'm sure at some point, like Mbamu's doing really well on loan, for example. He's like the next version of that. And of course, it's not just Mikasa, who's shining right now. You've of course got McCade, who's doing brilliantly. The Heskey brothers playing for Manchester City, which still I can't get my head around. It's wonderful as a 90s lad. But yeah, it's a wonderful place to learn and almost like guarantee a career at a high level in football. And that to me is just as important as making it through to the City side. You want these players with that City background to go and have good careers in football too.
Luke, I would love your take as well.
Yeah, you've only got to look at the fruits of the academy. Not only in our team, you've got Nico O'Reilly, you've got Rico Lewis, Phil Foden, but also like further afield. You look, obviously James Trafford as well was at Burnley and he's come back to City. Yeah. And then you just look at the rest of the Premier League as well. Liam Delap, Cole Palmer. There's so many names scattered all over Europe, to be honest. And I'm sure a lot of these players will be doing the same, hopefully in our team as well. But also
Chelsea.
We've got
Gittins.
Yeah, exactly. Chelsea have had a fair few of our players.
Yeah. But I do want to do a segment and actually see how many of our academy products now are scattered, as you were saying, in the Premier League, in the Championship, and across Europe.
It's great. It really is. Even like Tommy Doyle playing in Birmingham, that's incredible. That's such a big level. Yeah. And I think we aim, to get players for the academy sides. But if my son one day were good enough, if they don't make it a City, but they end up the Championship, that's a ridiculous level to play at. It's such a good thing, and it's a success for the academy as well. Not every success is defined by playing for Manchester City's first team, and I think the academy coaches will be telling them that too.
Yeah, absolutely. James McAtee as well, Nottingham Forest. We'll be seeing him later on in the season. I think December we've got Nottingham Forest. Then we're going to move to our under-18s. They played Burnley, and it was Teddy Lamb with a hat-trick. We won this game 5-0. Now, I don't know if you know much about this lad, but I mean, he's only 16. As we know, a lot of our boys are playing an age or two age groups up, but such a strong-looking 16-year-old.
That's a Haaland penalty, that wasn't a step.
Well, what about this little cheeky one here? Stop that, just to complete the hat trick. That is definitely another. I don't know if you've known too much around.
No, but what a name as well, Teddy Lamb. Like a Football Manager regen and scoring goals like that. Yeah, he looks extremely confident. A big lad already as well.
He's playing there at 16 as well, under 18 level, and he's just Panenke'd it for a hat trick.
Yeah, yeah, it is frightening.
You have to have that confidence. Yeah, I remember watching like years ago when I watched the academies a lot more. You'd see Phil Foden and Brahim Diaz and Sancho in the same side. They were more confident than the rest of them because they knew they were better. And these talents, young ones like this Lamb fella, for example, I don't know much about him, but he seems to have that confidence that will lend himself to under-23 football, then hopefully into first-team football one day. Also, when you mentioned there, Divin Mubama, who got 3 goals and assists yesterday for Stoke as well. Yeah, phenomenal. But we touched upon Huddersfield at the start of the show. I think there's been 4 or 5 of the EDS. The Heskey brothers got their chance, and as we say, Divine Mukasa. And I do think as well they train next to the first team now. So when Pep ever wants to call a few players over, the route that has always been been the thing thrown at City, it's very clear now, isn't it? And we're constantly seeing these players come into the side.
And that's what's so beautiful. We've got a football team here that's not only been so successful over the last few years, but we're also so successful on every level of it, every single level. And like we said, these players that are, coming through. Yeah. This is just amazing, isn't it?
And this, just for context here, what this is here now is when an academy player makes their debut for the first team, the plaque goes on the wall, and we can see now here there's so many of them. 4 we've had 4 new plaques have been added onto here this season.
That's great.
As a source of inspiration and drive, then not just for the under-18s but throughout the academy to see that. It really is very, very special.
If I was Pep, I'd be giving as many as I could just so they need a bigger wall.
Yeah, keep on adding to it.
It's like,
and I know they I was listening to an interview with our academy director, and he's obviously spoke about now they've made the jump of being feeding players into the first team. Yeah. The next thing for them now is wanting to create a Ballon d'Or winner, which feels like a huge statement, but that now is the ambition of the academy and is why we are probably one of the best, if not the best, in Europe at the moment.
Well, we've got fairly close to Ballon d'Or when you look at Phil Foden, PFA Player of the Year winner.
Very, very true.
And maybe one day Phil might get there. But creating Ballon d'Or winners is pretty good conversation to be having, to be honest.
I think Ballon d'Or winners create themselves as well to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, the level of talent that you get them, and they are that good, and they go and do special things. I mean, to how hard it is. Haaland hasn't got one, and look how ridiculously he is, But I think it's possible. If you keep playing at this level, and keep producing players of the quality, one day someone's going to emerge who's undeniably brilliant.
Yeah,
We've already had a few that are wonderful footballers, but someone is going to be irrepressible, and you won't be able to hold back that talent. And I can't wait. It's going to be such a thrill watching one day. Hopefully, it's a young lad as well. Not that it fully matters, but
it just adds a little something else to it, doesn't it?
It does to me personally. Yeah, like you want to, the accent and all that kind of. I still get goosebumps when I hear Nico O'Reilly or Phil or Rico talking. It sound a bit like us.
Yeah,
it's nice, So that to me is that has to be the aim. And we talked about earlier about people like Phil Foden taking responsibility, and the academy will be thinking, well, what's the next step for us? We produced Club World Cup winners and Champions League winners. Now we want the best player in the world from our academy.
Just got a great stat there as well from our producer Mark. Thank you. 13 academy graduates are currently playing first team football in the Premier League that aren't at Manchester City, which is quite phenomenal indeed. Now, Luke, I love your knowledge because you even earmarked this when we said that Doku was starting.
Yeah.
This was a game that really announced him to City fans, isn't it? Well, let's watch this little clip here. This is Jeremy Doku looking back at that game and, of course, talking about his time at City so far.
One goal, 4 assists is a 10 out of 10. And it was a good game. So Nathan gives me the ball, he runs in behind, and I see the one defender following him, so I go inside. I play to Rodri, he sets the ball perfectly, and I just try to put it in the corner. So I think everything was what I wanted, but I think the most important was the run of Nathan, and also the set of Rodri was perfect. From that moment I felt like, okay, today is going to be a good day. I think because he played with a lot of players in the back, when you find the gap and you can score, I think it's good for the confidence. So it was a nice goal. It's my first season as well, so I was very happy. So Nathan plays the ball in the middle, Julian plays me, I go a bit more central. I see Kyle running, so I play him wide. Then I make the run, and then I'm 1v1 in the box, and I know that as a defender it's difficult to defend because they don't want to make a penalty. So then I just dribble purely out of instinct, and I see Bernardo free, open, and I give him the pass, and he finishes it very well. Obviously we play with all quality players, and those actions are most of the time goal or a good save. So I was quite sure that Bernardo would score that. Then this one's quite funny. It was a corner. I see Bernardo dragging 3 players with him. I have time a bit on the ball. Then I go to my left foot, shoot. Was going wide a bit. Akanji touches it, but I didn't know. So I thought it was my goal, but went down for an assist. So that's, I take that. It's no problem. I'm going with the ball to the player. I see Phil making the run. They're all concentrated on me, so then I know I just need to play a ball there in the box, and Phil has a top touch, so he controls it very well, and then he scores it. This one is just because the players are all looking at me and they don't look at the runs that are coming in the box, so Phil takes advantage of that, and I see him and I pass the ball hard to him, knowing that he can control this ball, so nice goal. Good players they understand football, they understand the movements, understand where the ball needs to go, so Phil is that type of player. Yes, so here Semenyo has the ball, I take the ball off, Nathan gives me the ball, I temporize and I see Bernardo running in the space, and I just playing him in the deep, and then Bernardo dribbles it and finishes very nicely, like a type of Messi goal. I think everybody in City knows how to play that type of pass. You just need to do it in the game and have the vision for it. So I'm not working on that, but it's just about awareness, looking where the players are and who is the man free, and I try to do that. I'm not really looking at games in terms of statistics. I'm looking at the overall performance, So there were a lot of games where in overall where I was good, but there were others. But obviously in terms of statistics, I would always take the Bournemouth game.
That was Jeremy Doku there talking about that game that really announced him to Manchester City fans. It was his first season, a goal, 4 assists, taking the mick out every single player on the pitch. He seems to, though, have gone up a gear this season, gents. Now, I wanted to ask you both, what is it that has clicked for Jeremy Doku that has almost gone, wow, we're at another level now?
I mean, just watching that goal back there against Napoli, that was an unbelievable goal. I think he's had some time in the team, obviously. I think he's focusing a lot on himself. We saw him in the Club World Cup as well. I thought he was probably our best player out there in America. So he just seems to be getting that run of games, and I think he has, outside Haaland, probably been our best player this season, so I'm glad to see it.
Well, look where he gets the ball here, he's central as well. And I think you think about the assist against Man United as well, central, when he went past Luke Shaw. I think there's been a real understanding of just how effective he is as a dribbler. And if you're that good at dribbling, regardless of where you're on the pitch, you can sort of unleash him closer to goal, and it can have that effect in the game. And Guardiola was saying as well, I can't remember the direct quote, but he was implying that, he's taking more time to get his head down and think and pick a pass. And I think Haaland understands the passes he's going to make and the runs as well, and he's really enjoying the link up with O'Reilly at the side of him, or maybe Aït-Nouri eventually, and the responsibility to come central and play these passes. And he's clearly such a student of the game as well. And here's the assist I was talking about. I mean, look at his skill there, that's ridiculous. I mean, to do that in the centre of the park in a Premier League game, it takes immense confidence and ability, and that to me is the next evolution of Doku, picking up the ball in those spaces where you get no time on the ball whatsoever.
No room.
His footwork to do that, it's just devastating.
I think I remember saying to, I don't know if it was to Jolie, to Paul, or to one of our Matchday live guests, that you could see all his raw ability, but if he found consistently his end product, you're making an argument that he's arguably one of the most devastating, if not world-class wingers in football at the moment, and he is starting to find that end product.
He's starting to get there. He gets you off your seat. Like, you watch him, and he's just like jittering about, and you think, what's going to happen next? And then, like we just saw, then you get a goal, you get an assist, and like Stephen said, then it's picking it up in the middle of the park. Normally out wide, it's a lot more difficult to get round men and get it in the box. From those central positions, though, he seems to be doing it a lot.
Because he can go either side as well.
Defensively, if you think about where your body shape when you're in the centre of the pitch, the midfielders, they're stood square on, so if he gets past him, like the fullbacks one-on-one, they're much more used to that, that challenge. And even though he gets past them 9 times out of 10, it's just hard to create space, but they're not prepared for it in the middle. Like, no one runs like that in the centre of the pitch, and so when Doku does it there, it creates so much chaos. And I think he's been wonderful this season. I think he knows probably deep down as well. The sky's the limit. The talent that he's got is he's probably the best dribbler in world football. And obviously how far he goes is dependent on the next step. But that talent is special.
Well, speaking of that talent, we actually spoke to former Manchester City player Dedrick Boyat. Dedrick Boyat. He was speaking about how much of an important role Doku is playing, not just in Manchester City, but also for Belgium now as well.
It's all about trying to get the ball on dangerous area and try to bring the ball on the areas where the strikers can score, and even himself to try to get on the score sheets. His quality, honestly, as of today, we haven't seen somebody that can dribble like he does. So hopefully he can be as decisive as possible. Yeah, so far he's the main person. So far everything comes out of what he does. So he's been playing so well. In September he scored 2 goals also. So now the Belgium is actually doing okay. I wouldn't say the best, but he's the main person. So for sure he's going to be going to the World Cup if he stays fit, and hopefully he can bring that country as far as possible.
How would you defend against him if you were coming up against him?
You take your space. You try not to get too tight with him, and you let him come to him. You bring him to in an area where it's quite uncomfortable, and then it's 50-50. It's either you try to challenge him on that area, or you just don't let him take the space. Otherwise, you get done.
I mean, that's very high praise there, talking about that he is the main man for Belgium and everything's going through Doku at the moment. The confidence that must give him, but also that he's playing with. That's kind of also probably why we're seeing the best of him. Yeah,
to be the main man at Belgium, and we've got the likes of Kevin De Bruyne still playing for them as well, is remarkable, to be honest, Stephen. You were just saying about how much he's impressed this season as well.
Yeah, no, and to be honest, when he played for Belgium against Wales, I think it was one of the defenders said the difference between the two sides was him. He said if Doku was in a Welsh shirt, he probably would have won that game. And he's doing things. I mean, international football anyway is suited to him, and he's doing things at that level that are special. Because obviously, tactically, you don't get as much time to hone your team internationally. So there's probably a little bit more space and a little bit more space for him to sort of express himself, and I think he just loves it. So he could genuinely be like a superstar at the World Cup. Because his style is what you see from Brazilian wingers over the years. And Doku is the closest thing to that in an awful long time.
3 goals and 2 assists as well for him on his last 3 games on the international stage. You've probably just seen behind us, the boys have taken to the pitch to start warming up. We are building up to our 4:30 kickoff against Bournemouth here at the Etihad Stadium. Big old game. Who would have thought that this would be a top 4 game at the start of the season? But the form that Bournemouth are in, it is not going to be easy. If you've just tuned in, I've got Luke with me and Stephen, and that is your team. Gigi Donnarumma, Mateus Nunes, Diaz, Gavardio, Nico O'Reilly in the midfield. Nico Gonzalez, Bernardo Silva, our captain. Phil Foden making his 200th Premier League appearance. Ryan Shirky starts. Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland complete your starting 11. I did forget to say as well at the start of the show, I think we saw him getting off the bus. Rodri, slowly but surely making his way back. We knew it was going to be a long road to recovery for him, but nice to see him obviously back with the boys, Luke.
Yeah, it's obviously been a bit difficult for him. He got back, I believe, I don't think it was the Bournemouth game, but right towards the end of the season he got an appearance at home, and the reception he got here was so good, but he comes back, he gets injured, he comes back, and it's very difficult because you just want him to be playing every week. We know that this is a Ballon d'Or winner, arguably one of our best players we've got in the team, so we need to just make sure he gets back, getting his minutes slowly but surely, like you said, and we can have him starting every week again at some point.
His presence is just comfortable. He's comforting. Just the sight of Rodri, with the team just makes you feel better about Manchester City as a whole, because he's a special footballer. We talked an awful lot before the game about the presence of certain players, and Donnarumma and Haaland, not just in terms of their ability, but physically, the massive people. And Rodri is very similar that way. A wonderful footballer, a massive man, and him being back around the side with that relentless will to win is it's a huge boost for this side.
Yeah, I'm just loving seeing him back on the pitch.
Great, isn't it?
Pitch down there.
We'll just turn the chairs around and watch.
Yeah, we'll just watch him pass the ball back and forth. That is a beautiful sight to see Rodri back on the pitch here at the Etihad Stadium. Gents, shall we have a little quiz?
Go on.
Let's have a little quiz then. Of course, you can be playing along as well if you're watching. It is a quiz around the season so far. Okay, and it's going to be done in a penalty shootout style format. And we've got some nice graphics to go here, and we do have a tie-breaker question if needed. Who wants to go first?
I am bad with quizzes, so I'll let Luke go.
Okay.
you know the stat about penalty shootouts. Take it first. I'll
9 games already.
AB or ABBA?
Okay, here we go. Round 1. This is your question, Luke. How many new signings started the 4-0 win over Wolves on the opening day? How many of the new signings started the 4-0 win?
2.
You're saying 2?
No. Does James Trafford count as a new signing?
3.
I'll go 3.
You can't change it after saying
I'm gonna let you have that one. You'll let you off there, Luke. All right, just to keep.
I've started.
Okay, there we go. It was 3. It was James Trafford, Ait Nouri, and Reinders started that game. Your question: which 2 new signings scored in that win?
Reinders and Shirky.
There we go. Goal, back of the net. Lovely. Okay.
One go at it as well.
Okay, here we go. Round 2. Which former Manchester City player equalised for Brighton in our 2-1 defeat in August? Straight in there. He's not waited for the whistle. He's gone straight up and put it in the back of the net.
Smashed it in after the fans were giving me stick.
Retake it.
Gigi Donnarumma made his Man City debut in the win over United. What number does he wear, Stephen?
Oh my God, I blanked. Oh, I'm really bad with numbers. I'm just have to guess. I generally blanked.
Yeah.
23? 25.
Yeah.
25 is Fernandinho's number. I just remembered afterwards.
You bit the post.
Yeah. Like, numbers don't stay in my head. They just never do.
Okay, round number 3, yes. Savinho scored his first goal of the season against which club?
Oh dear.
That is a tricky one.
I think he scored against Huddersfield.
Well in. Back in the net. Well done, Luke. Well played.
I'll take it.
The Heskey brothers both made their first two debuts against Huddersfield Town, but which one is older?
Jaden.
Nice,
That's
cool,
cold.
calm,
I'll give you
composed,
that.
straight in. 50-50, done very well there.
I know it is,
pressure on.
frankly,
Okay, there we go. So still only one in it. Round number 4. Luke, Phil Foden, Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland were nominated for the Etihad Player of the Month award in September, but who won the prize?
Jeremy Doku.
Yes, he did. Of course, it's kind of been a very Jeremy Doku themed show today.
I know the answers to all yours. It's really annoying.
And who picked up the Premier League Player of the Month prize for that same month?
Haaland.
Absolutely. You kind of say it with a half confidence, but a little bit of merit, Stephen. Okay, here we go. Luke, if you get this, you do get the win.
No pressure, mate.
How many consecutive Man City games did Erling Haaland score in before that run was ended at Aston Villa last weekend?
I think he scored in. I'm trying to think now because I know the Premier League games. I'm gonna say 9.
You would be absolutely spot on. Well played. Done very, very well there. Stephen, I want to see if you could get this one though. And how many goals did he score in that run of 9 games?
Here's a guess. I can't remember off the top of my head. 12. Oh, 13, isn't it?
13 again. Close though. Fair enough. Very well played. Should we do the tiebreak? Should we do the tiebreak question? Might as well. We'll do it as a team.
Yeah.
What is the combined age of our 4 goalkeepers this season? Closest wins.
Right. So you've got.
Do you want me to give you the? Obviously, we've got Trafford, Donnarumma. I mean, I'm sorry, our keepers this season are a joke. Trafford, Donnarumma, Ortega, and then Bettinelli.
I'm going to go 110.
Okay, 110 from Luke.
I'm going to go for 100.
Actually,
I'm taking your first answer, Luke.
115.
You were so close. 114.
I just went for 5.
And actually, if we'd have done this next week, you would have been right because it's Ortega's birthday.
I was
That's what you were thinking.
I was thinking about Stefan, I got carried away.
Bettinelli 33, Ortega 32, Donnarumma 26,
got me there.
James Trafford 23. Really enjoyed that, gents, very much so. Right, let's head back to Alistair Mann where he's alongside Nicky Reed.
Yeah, welcome back to Pitchside. I'm always delighted to be talking to former Manchester City players, and I've got one alongside me who played more than 200 times for this club, defender who played in the 1981 FA Cup final as well. Alongside me, Nicky Reed. Nicky, you're very, very welcome today. First and foremost, I mean, do you look back at those days and think it was living the dream?
Well, I was living the dream. I left school at 16, was offered an apprenticeship at City, signed as an apprentice under Tony Buck. Then Tony Buck offered me a professional contract at 18, and from there I made it to the first team. I was living the dream, yeah. I thought it would never end, but here we are now at 65, looking down, and it seems a lifetime away.
Talking of a lifetime away, what are your recollections of the 81 final? You got 2 stabs at it.
Well, I played in both games. I thought we should have won both games, but each time, you've just got to take it on the chin. They won. They scored 1 or 2 fabulous goals, but so did we. On a different day, we would have won. I thought we were the better team, but I'd always think that.
Is that one of the sort of highlights when you always look back on your playing days?
My highlights are I signed for Manchester City. I made my debut for City in the UEFA Cup Cup's quarter-final. Yeah. I played in the Cup final, both the replay and the first game. I played in the Full Members Cup final. We got a promotion, but unfortunately we had a relegation as well. All those were highlights for me, really, apart from the relegation, obviously.
How much of a wrench was it to leave?
Well, as my mother used to say to me, all good things must come to an end, and you know it's not going to last forever. Sooner or later you've got to leave, so there you go. You got to just go with it, haven't you?
And of course you were at Blackburn and 1 or 2 other clubs as well.
Yeah, I played 5 seasons for Blackburn.
Yeah.
a season or two for West Brom, a season or two for Wycombe Wanderers, a season or two for Bury, and then I think I finished off playing a couple of seasons in Southern Ireland for Sligo. I was the player manager there.
Absolutely.
And I was only player manager so I could pick myself every week.
Did it work?
Not really, no.
And after that, you didn't really do any management. Did he never appeal to you?
Oh, I went to university to qualify as a physiotherapist and an osteopath. And I worked at football clubs I worked at Bury, I worked at Burnley, Preston North End. I did a short spell at Sale Sharks. I even did a short spell at City. And then I did that because I loved keeping fit, I loved charging around, I loved messing around with the players. But unfortunately, one of my knees took a turn for the worse. I thought I'll have to find something else to do, and that's when I started the running the pub.
Absolutely.
Thought it would be easy, but...
Tell us about the pub. What's that been like for you? About six years now, is it?
Oh, 6 or 8 years.
Yeah.
My partner and I, we've run the pub in it's a little boozer in Chorley. It's nothing to write home about. But it keeps us busy, gets me up in the morning, makes me do stuff, you know.
And you must have met a few people, a few characters down the years as a pub landlord, mustn't you?
I like meeting people, to be honest. I like being in the pub. I like the characters that come in the pub. It is a nice it's a nice place to work. Yeah.
Challenging question for you.
Go on, then.
If you were going to be sat around having a beer with some City players from the past, who would you like to sit down and have a beer with?
Well, I used to be matey with Tommy in the team, but unfortunately Tommy Caton's not with us anymore.
Absolutely.
All the other boys who were a similar age to me, we used to go out and have a pint. Dave Bennett, Ray Ranson, Roger Palmer, all those lads, you know.
And what do you think of the modern...
I'd go out with them tonight if they're knocking about. There you go.
As I say, what about the modern day City?
I suppose life in a modern day team probably wouldn't suit me because they probably have to live like monks, you know. They can't go on the way home to the pub to have a couple of pints, can they?
What about this team? What have you seen of them?
The team, I only get to watch games on telly. I'm afraid I'm an armchair supporter these days. We come to the match, and because my son there, my younger son, is a desperate City supporter, you know, bested the living daylights out of me to accept the invitation. So here we are, yeah.
Well,
but the City team is fabulous, yeah. It's a world away. Everything's a world away. It's like being in a canal boat to a spaceship, you know.
I bet it is.
It is, yeah.
Well, it's lovely to see you. Fantastic.
Thank you
Thanks for joining
much.
us today.
Thank you.
The thoughts there of long-time City defender Nicky Reid. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicky Reid, and thank you, Alistair Mann there. It's a great conversation, actually, that's been inspired by that chat, of course, him saying that he's now a pub landlord, because we wanted to ask you guys if you could have 4 dream guests to sit down and go to the pub with, who would they be? Luke, I'll begin with you. Do you want to begin with your 4?
I definitely want Jack Grealish in there.
Yeah.
Someone tells me he's going to be mentioned a lot here.
I was thinking Mario Balotelli as well, but I just think that would just be chaos.
You'd be kicked out in 5 minutes. Yeah.
So I'm going to go Jack Grealish, Joe Hart.
Joe Hart, nice.
Yeah.
What's the thinking with Joe Hart?
Just Joe Hart's just sound. I just think Joe Hart would just be. I think he'd be a bit more calm and collected. He'd kind of keep everyone in a bit of order. I think I've got to have Pep there. Yeah. Just got to have Pep at the table, and then there's so many other names, but I'm struggling. I think I'll throw in Kevin De Bruyne.
Okay.
I'll throw Kevin De Bruyne just because of. I mean, he's just one of the best.
Pick
players.
his brains a little bit. Yeah. Also, I mean, I've seen Kev out on a few of the dudes. He's got a little cheeky streak in him, Kev.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When he does like a little bit of fun. Do you know what I mean? Okay, nice. Steve.
Very similar, to be honest, mate. I was thinking about Kev, just because I'm convinced we can be best mates. I'm going to make it happen one day. Yeah, absolutely. I went for the same Jack, obviously, because I think Jack, you're not buying a pint, let's be honest. He's buying everyone a pint in that room, full stop. And I think he'd just be a great chat about everything, and he'd tell you everything as well. It'd be really good fun. I've gone for Pep, obviously, but also I think the GOAT. I think he'd be. I
think Sean Goat would be great.
I don't want to see Sean just telling Pep about Bermuda. Sean Goat, like so much more than anything. Him there, just going, Kevin, how many goals would I get with the team with you? And just thinking, oh, Kevin. It'd be awesome. Like Sean would make it such a full.
Alistair Mann wanted to go with Pep so he could speak about golf with Pep, which I thought would be interesting. I'd have to have Pep. I would want to have Pep there, but I also don't know if I'd have Pep for like a dinner guest.
Yeah,
because I can pick his brains over dinner. Whereas I'm thinking, for me going to the pub, I think just pull in pulling all the sesh heads.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm talking Jack Grealish,
Yeah.
Mario Balotelli, Paul Dickoff in there.
Andy Morrison.
Do you know what I mean? Get Andy Morrison, or maybe
Yeah.
like a Richard Dunn. Do you know what I mean? But
Don't
I
even
think
be quiet in the corner there, wouldn't he? Like, just like,
yeah.
just there.
But I think Jack would have to be there. I will have Balotelli. I'd love to have Balotelli at the pub. But then if you did have Pep, I think you'd get some good wine.
Yeah,
That's the other thing that Pep would.
I reckon Pep would secretly love a pint in the corner though. You know, then a game of pool and some darts and that. I think Pep would love it, you know. Like,
True, I also just love to have a pint of Guinness with Pep.
Yeah.
In fact, can I see Pep drinking a Guinness?
I don't know if I can.
smashing
I think it'd end a little bit maybe like when he had that bacon butty that time.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wasn't a big fan of it, yeah.
What about who's controlling the tunes? Who would you have on the tunes, do you reckon?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Jack
we
would
need
take control
music.
anyway.
We don't need.
No.
It's going to be loud enough. I think.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. The chat will be flowing, the beer will be flowing.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff, gents. Really, yeah. 4 pub guests there. Maybe we'll do dinner party and see if there would be a more like, you know.
Yeah, I think suddenly it would change.
Yeah,
And the philosophical thinkers.
Yeah.
Bernardo, get one in.
There you go. You really want to get Bernardo in there, Stephen?
Best mates, I'm convinced. There's some players you look at and go, I could be mates. Yeah, like, I don't know, I just feel it. Like me and Bernardo look a bit similar, you know.
Yeah.
There we go.
I can see it in there.
If you think, mate, I'll. No, I'll give you the beard.
Now, if you've just tuned in, you would have seen at the start of the show, but we put a lovely compilation together of our last 10 goals against Bournemouth. So we delved into the archives to bring you them, and let me tell you, there's some absolute peaches in there. One standout, of course, Omar Mamouche's.
Speculative attempt, what a goal that is from Omar Mamouche! Cancelo keeps it down, keeps it in play, has a look on goal, sells a dummy, it's found its way in, and it looks like an own goal, but it was all down to João Cancelo.
Doku now on the point of the edge of the area, trying to get into the penalty area, works a little angle onto Rodri, looks for the 1-2, hits the shot, brilliant goal, Doku 1-2 with Rodri, and poked it in almost like a toe bung into the corner of the net. Doku with a little step over, comes into the box, goes outside, goes inside, on it goes to Bernardo Silva. Jeremy Doku's having the blinder, and Bernardo Silva is the latest beneficiary. Plays it across to Doku, Doku in a shooting position, hits the shot well, 3-0. Jeremy Doku, 2 for Doku. Foden on the turn, spins away in the central midfield area, helps it out wide to Doku, Doku up against Aaron, Doku keeps on going, on it goes towards Foden, Foden! 4-0, Doku with another assist. Doku away from Aaron's again, lovely ball out to Bernardo Silva, Bernardo Silva rampaging forward, chance for a fifth for Bernardo Silva, goes inside, scoops it in, off the line, well Bernardo Silva says it crossed, well it has now, and City lead by 5 goals to 1. Walker out to Foden again, Foden out wide, Nunes into the gap for Bob, Bob hard and low, and number 6, Nathan Ake practically on the floor, heads it into the back of the net.
Speculative attempt, what a goal that is from Omar Mamouche! In off the crossbar from a considerable distance. Back out towards Bernardo Silva. Kovacic, Gundogan cuts it back, Bernardo Silva! 2-0! A well-worked team goal. Nico Gonzalez! Right footed into the net to kill the game off completely.
Some absolute peaches in that compilation there, and we're just bringing you some. This was the lads just literally moments ago getting the final bits of warm-up and preparation in before they go and get their final bits together before coming out the tunnel for our 4:30 game against Bournemouth here at the Etihad Stadium. We're all very excited to see that man starting Ryan Shirky after that great performance against Swansea. Man of the match, goal and an assist, and he's starting with Phil Foden. If you ever do get a chance to come to the Etihad, there's so much for you to do around the ground, but I was even saying it's lovely if you can get in here just half an hour before to watch the boys warming up. I mean, I could watch City doing rondos all day, Luke.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Because we watch, obviously, the games every week, but to watch that is something a little bit different, and I've always liked doing it, to be fair, since I was younger. And you can just see some of these shots. We saw Foden daggering a few towards the top corner, so hopefully he gets one of them today.
There does, I mean, I think it's been spoken about as well, Stephen, and the conversation around the club, that there is, it was difficult, obviously, last season for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
But this new energy that's kind of felt amongst the team, the charisma, the cohesiveness, there just seems to be that kind of little bit of magic and togetherness that I know, which I feel is such a unique part of our Manchester City team.
I think there's separation now between the past and they're moving forward together as a collective. I mean, the success we had over the past 10 years, it's almost impossible to recreate that because it was a truly special era. But I think this collection of players, they've all got that hunger, you know. Not that the other players didn't care, but naturally when you reach the top of the mountain, it's hard not to come down a little bit. And these guys, they're on the way up. They've all come, you know, with something to prove, and they want to carry on that legacy, you know, of all these great players that have moved on. And you're seeing it now from the next generation. You know, people like Nico Gonzalez broken into the team, or people like Kusanov have come in, or Nico Gonzalez now, Marmoush, Shirky. They have something to prove, and I think it's incredibly important. You know, great teams, they never stand still. They do reinvest in new talent and new ideas, and I think Pep's also been a bit reinvigorated by, you know, these new faces with new ideas, and I think that's it's crucial to City's development as a club to have these players. You just want it, and you're seeing that. You know, this young collection of players, we've probably got more in common because they're a slightly younger age as well, and I think that helps. It's easier playing if you're 22, I can imagine, or getting on with people who are around your age than someone who's 36 or 35. Naturally.
Yeah, for sure. Gents, we're going to head back to Alistair Mann. He's pitch side with a drummer from the Smiths, Mr. Mike Joyce.
OK, well, alongside me now is someone who's probably more known as being a musician, but also pretty well known for being a big City fan as well. Of course, I'm joined by Mike Joyce. Mike, thank you so much.
Hi, mate. How you doing?
I'm very well. Do you prefer to be referred to as a City man or a former drummer with the Smiths?
You can combine the both, I suppose. Two bases covered. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously I was a City fan before I was in the Smiths. But you know, I mean, I was a City fan forever. So I suppose that's more pertinent, especially in here.
Absolutely. What have you made of this season before we get on to you and the book?
I think it's been all right. You know, it's not been a disaster. Hot and cold, you know. I think those performances, some of the great performances. I mean, after watching the Wolves game, you know, and I thought, oh, silky smooth. But after seeing how Wolves have been doing since that, maybe that wasn't. It was a bit premature. The Spurs game, you know, I thought Spurs played really well against us, and I think the Monaco game we drew, didn't we? Yeah. And I think in that situation, I'm more interested in how we play rather than the results sometimes. The same with the Arsenal game. You know, great, well done, boys. I think the thing that concerns me, and I know that Pep's brought it up because I've seen him in the interviews talking about it, is that the lack of other goal scorers. Because when we had Mahrez and we had De Bruyne and we had Bernardo and De Silva, you know, when you've got 5 or 6 players capable of being on the score sheet every game, you know, because, I mean, obviously, if that single threat's Haaland, which it seems as though that's looking like, you know, in the past few games it has been, if you can negate that presence, then, you know, we're going to struggle, and we are doing. So, of course, getting some more scorers on the sheet is imperative, really. But I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling bad about it at all.
You're writing a book, or you've written a book, and it's coming out now. Give us an idea about what kind of things we can expect about your history.
By the book. No, I mean, well, the thing is, I do talk about being a City fan. My sister used to take me to Main Road. Like I said, when we first moved to Fallowfield, we're on Wilburn Road and we could hear Main Road from our house. So we used to go down there. She used to take me down there as a little suede head with me Crombie and me brogues and me True-Tex. I must have looked a bit of not an idiot, but and a 10-year-old.
At the time you didn't.
A 7-year-old or whatever, dressed as a little suede head. I must have looked pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
Anyway, I've talked a lot about the experience and the beauty of being in the Smiths because it's not something that's ever been catalogued. I get asked a lot, you know, what was it like being in the Smiths? I can't really explain what that's like, and I decided to put it into print once and for all to try and explain and give people a flavour of just what that was like, because it was an incredible experience. Only a short period of time, but an incredible experience nonetheless, and I've tried to do that in the book.
Before you go, tell everybody the title of the book and anything else you want to tell us about it.
Right, well, it's called Mike Joyce, The Drums, which is what was printed on the sleeves, all the sleeves that we had. Instead of saying drums and percussion, it said Morrissey voice, Johnny Marr guitars, Andy Rourke, the bass guitar, and Mike Joyce, the drums, rather than just drums or percussion. Sounds like quite a kind of majestic title. So I thought I'd pinch that. And you know what they say, talent borrows and genius steals. But it's a great read. I mean, of course I'm going to say it's a great read. But you be the judge of that, guys. I mean, I'm getting some great reactions from it, but we'll see anyway.
As ever, beautiful. Nice to see you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Back to you.
Thank you, Alistair, and thank you, Mike Joyce. Right, we have not got long left on the show, gents. It's a 4:30 kickoff. Starting 11 is on the bottom of your screen. Also, I wanted to quickly mention a few players on the bench. Omar Mamouche, Tijani Reinders, Rodri as well. We spoke about at the start, Stephen, but we're really getting back to that kind of full squad strength, which is important because, as we know now, it's games basically every 3 days, bar the international break.
The biggest thing for me, no Bob or Kusanov in the squad, and that's entirely tactical. It shows that depth is returning, and I think once we're talking about this new generation of players, it's going to take time for that best 11, if that even exists, to form, and you're going to have to keep trying everyone and give everyone minutes. And I think right now, being able to rotate the game and so vividly during the actual match, like Pep's using his substitutes at the moment, he's using all 5 of them, and that's necessary. And yeah, I love seeing the strength that we've got on the bench to to mix it up and change things, because given how hard it is these days in the Premier League, with everyone running so much, you need everyone involved, and we can see how quickly it can change where you've got 22 players, suddenly 13, 14 senior players, because injuries pick up and suspensions, and it just feels nice after last year with all the chaos of the injuries that right now we've got a squad. It's getting colder already, and it's still looking healthy.
Yeah, it is indeed. Speaking of the Premier League as a whole, we can bring you the current Premier League table as it stands. We mentioned earlier, Luke, as well, I think before this week, or today's fixture, this weekend's, only 3 points separated second and 11th. We know Bournemouth obviously are flying high there. Huge game for us. I mean, for everyone.
So
but three points today does put us back to second, obviously 6 points behind Arsenal.
The one thing I always like to look at, I think, is a really good indicator is that goal difference. And obviously we've not played yet, but you can see that +10 there.
Yeah.
If we can get a win today, it would be just nestling there underneath Arsenal and above Bournemouth. So.
And I mean, six points still so early on. 10 games played, 6 points still feels manageable, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And you just got to win your home games. We've already been away to Arsenal, which people forget. Even if there is a little bit of a gap at the top. We've just got to win our games. That we know they're a great side, and we've already been there and put in a great performance and got a point out of that game. So, it's what City do. We just got to stay in there, see where we're at in a couple of months.
Yeah, Steve. The best Manchester City is always in the second half of the season onwards. I think the way that we play, it takes so much rhythm and consistency, and Pep really irons out any problems from the first half of the season. So if we're close to Arsenal, around January, February, they'll sense that and they'll feel it, because as good as they've been so far, they'll be thinking, what if City find that form? What if Rodri's back on the pitch and Haaland? And we need to keep the pressure on, basically. Stay close, and after that, City will do their thing.
And as we know, we've done that before as well. That wouldn't be the first time. So, Luke, just before the players come out, what is your hope from the game today? What would you like to see from our boys in blue? We can see they're just making their way into the tunnel.
Do you know that league table we just pulled up? I'd like to see us sort of sat second.
Nice.
All time. So I'd like to see us win. I just want to see Cherky on the ball as well. We know he's starting for a reason. We know how good he played midweek. And I want to see him make an instant impact coming to starting this team in the Premier League at home.
Yeah. I want to see Foden, Cherky and Doku given a licence to do what they want, within reason. Just Bernardo and Nico sort of sat behind them, the experience there and the physicality. Just let those two express themselves. If Doku wants to drift to the right and Phil goes to the left and Cherky central, or vice versa, or whatever, I want to see that, because I think that could be, a return to the fluidity and creativity of City of a few years ago, when you had, the likes of Mahrez and Gundogan and De Bruyne given that licence to do what they want, as long as it was benefiting the side. And I want to see that. If Cherky, let him go where he wants to. Foden, let him go where he wants to, and everyone cover for each other.
And I guess as well, we're having that freedom, but as we know, we're going to have to be organised when we've not got the ball for how good Bournemouth are today. It's a difficult opposition.
Yeah, like Stephen's already said, it's about keeping the ball today. It's about limiting the chances they can get, because we know how effective they can be, that front three. And Semenyo in particular, we've already highlighted. So, yeah, keep the ball well, make sure we take our chances as well, because that's something that we've got to do. If we don't, take our chances, then we're going to be in a lot of trouble today.
Gents, it's been an absolute pleasure this show. I've absolutely loved it. And don't worry, Manchester City fans, we'll be back at half-time, then at full-time. Alistair Mann has always got you covered with his commentary over on the Manchester City app. Just need some quick predictions from my guests. Luke, because you won the penalty shootout, you can go first.
I'll go 2-0. Foden to score as well on his 200th Premier League appearance.
OK.
I'm going big.
Go on.
3-0. We're going for it. Bournemouth are going to have the second defeat of the season. Shirky scoring.
Nice.
Foden and Haaland. It's in the game already. It's fine.
OK, well, I hope either one of them's right. You've got good form on the predictions so far, though, Luke, this season. Luke's been doing all right, OK, but let's see, a 2 or 3-0. We're confident here in the studio, just how we like it. Thank you so much for watching us, as always. We'll see you at half-time. The last thing for me to say is come on, City.
Thank you, Kel. Players in the tunnel, many of them knowing the opposition players quite well, a few embracing some of the Bournemouth players, but the focus is very much on what many believe is the game of the weekend in the Premier League. It's certainly a fascinating duel. City have been in outstanding form, apart from that blip at Aston Villa last Sunday, but Bournemouth, well, they have been exceptional, particularly when you consider how many key players left the club during a very busy summer. So City start the day in an unfamiliar 8th position in the table, but also in the knowledge that a win against Bournemouth this afternoon would propel them up to 2nd in a heavily congested early season table. Indeed, 3 points this afternoon would leapfrog them above today's opponents, who arrive as the best form of any side in the Premier League, unbeaten since the opening day away at Liverpool at Anfield. Their fans arrive here with much more expectation than hope. That is how far that Bournemouth have come. Well, City are 8 different to the midweek win at Swansea, but just 4 to the last league game at Aston Villa. In come O'Reilly, Nico, Doku and Cherki, the latter for his first Premier League start. It is in marked contrast to